Just having a few shots with the Wildcat, trying out the JSB Exact Heavy Diablo 10.34 grain and the Air Arms Diablo Field 8.4 grain. And we've got about 20-mile-an-hour wind coming towards the muzzle. It's a slight crosswind, but I always expect the heavy pellets to outperform the lighter ones, and it's never the case. It's always these Air Arms pellets always seem to group tighter. This is at 30 yards. I'll try it again at 50 yards to see whether it's reversed. But I'll show you the groups now. Those are the JSB Heavies, and the Air Arms. And the Air Arms is definitely a tighter group there. It always surprises me that the lighter pellet's more accurate even in the wind, but most of my air rifles just seem to prefer the Air Arms Diablo. So I'll try the same thing at 50 yards and see if there's any difference. Okay, I've come back 50 yards now. Gonna go prone for this one. So there's my shooting bench at 30 yards, and then there's the targets beyond that. It's my spaniel Chase. She's very good at staying behind the gun and keeping out of the way. Stay. Sit. Stay. Alright, those are all over the place, I can tell straight away. Well, looking through the scope I can see that the JSBs are still more scattered at 50 yards than the Air Arms, which to me doesn't make much sense when they're a heavier pellet, but the barrel obviously prefers the Air Arms pellets, even in windy conditions. So top left is the Air Arms. There's 6 shots there. That one, the wind took that one right over. And this is the 8th one. I forgot to hold over for that, so I won't count that. And these are the JSBs. So they're heavier pellets, so they're dropping more. But I don't know, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, there's not much in it really. There's a few, I'd say, I don't know, slightly tighter shots on the Air Arms. Not a great deal of difference at 50 yards. Different day now, same sort of conditions. Got a 20-mile-an-hour wind going from right to left. Trying different pellets again. Well, I'm still using the Air Arms, and this time I'm using Barracuda Match to compare with, which are heavier at 10.65 grain. So I've shot a few groups, so I'm going to compare them now. Got 2 groups here for each pellet. This is the first Air Arms group I did. There's another Air Arms group, H&Ns and H&Ns here. This is at 35 yards, so they're fairly close to each other. I find the air arm's a little bit more consistent. Sometimes the H&N does a really tight group like this, and then occasionally you get a couple of flyers outside the group. It could just be the wind gusting, but you know, I fired hundreds of shots of these different pellets, and whilst some of them might be better if you weighed all the pellets to get them the same, which I suspect might be true with these H&N Barracuda match, consistently I found the air arms ones better, so I'll be sticking with those with the Wildcat anyway. I've always wanted the heavier pellet in my air rifles to perform better, thinking it'll be better in the wind and things, and I just don't find that's the case. You'd think the lighter pellet would, well, it will move more in the wind, but if it's a more consistent pellet in the way it's made, then it can still outperform a heavier pellet in windy conditions. That's my findings anyway.